Hey English class, Allie here. I am going to be talking to you about quotation marks today, and I want you to use your imagination a little bit, so I'm going to be providing some visual aids to kind of help you out with that. So I want you to imagine that quotation marks are like bodyguards. They surround or protect quotes, the spoken word, punctuation, and other important things like titles. Let's talk about indented quotes first. Short indented quotes require bodyguards because they don't run on long enough. But long indented quotes can take care of themselves just fine, so they don't need bodyguards. And if you don't know who this guy is, that's okay, I just drew him because he's tall, which represents the length of the quote. So anyway, moving right along. Let's talk about quotes within quotes. These need extra bodyguard protection, so we use a smaller bodyguard, which represents singular quotation marks. They're scrawny yet well-defined, they get the job done. Here's an example of when they would be used in a sentence. However, as Smith states, there is a difference between stability and health. As I mentioned before, important things like titles need bodyguards, as you can see in the following example. Wiseman's article, "When Parents Are Not in the Best Interests of Their Child," or of the child, sorry, appears in the Atlantic Monthly. Alrighty. Now, let's talk about punctuation within quotation marks. Commas and periods are really small and always, without fail, need bodyguards. They need the extra protection. Semicolons and colons are a bit larger than commas and periods, and they can handle themselves, so they never, ever need bodyguards. They are always outside of the quotation marks. They've got this. Quotation marks, exclamation points, and dashes are a little bit tricky. Here's why. If the punctuation mark is part of the quote being used, then it needs bodyguards with it. If the mark applies to the sentence but not the quote itself, it doesn't need bodyguards. I'll give you a couple of examples to make it a little easier to understand. What did you think of her article, "Inner City Solutions?" ? He shouted, "Fire!" So I hope that you learned some good stuff and that this was a little bit of an interesting way for you to learn how to use quotation marks. If you have any questions, just ask me, because I'm going to be standing right there. So, anyway, thanks very much. Bye!